What's the deal? What's the deal, man? Mr. PolitiKan is back. We in studio now, man. We finna get it in, man. New residents, Riverside Studios, man. We ain't trapping out the house no more, man. 2021, we on y'all next, man. Y'all like my new setup, man? Check it out, check it out. So same old show, man. Same cast. We just in a new location, man. Let's get to it. So the first thing I gotta get to, man, James Harden finally made himself available for trade, man. They got him up out of there, man. Fat James Harden is out of there, man. He's going to Brooklyn. I got to bring in the homies, man. Ask them how they feel about this. And is Brooklyn a sure thing now with this big three? Kyrie, Durant, Harden. This is three of the top five scorers in the league on the same team. How you think this is going to pan out? Let's bring in the homies. What's the deal,
What up?
fools?
What up? What up? What up? What's good? What's going on, everybody?
Chilling,
Man,
chilling, man. So which one of
this
y'all want to talk about this, man?
man, I'll go first, man. This is crazy. So Harden finally made his way outside of Jersey. I mean, outside of Houston. James, for one, James Harden, he hasn't done anything in 6 years as a head dude in Houston. He's had Dwight Howard, he's had Chris Paul, he's had Russell Westbrook, he's had several elite players on alongside him. He has no excuses to why he has not advanced. Houston has provided him plenty of help throughout the years. He just folds in the playoffs. He's a choke. He folds in the playoffs. How's he blaming Houston for that? So I'm glad they got rid of his toxic ass. Now they can finally start doing some things as a team. As far as his new destination, New Jersey, they had to trade the whole team to get him. So they ain't got no bench or no support. So I mean, it's cool to have 3 stars, but to have this little time to chill with no bench or support, I don't know. I mean, they obviously have the talent to go to the finals, but to beat the team like the Lakers or the Clippers or whoever goes, I don't see it happening right now.
Well, I'm next. I'm next, y'all. I'm sorry because I got to talk about how that's going to compete with my Lakers. Um, oh well. Houston has always been what third or fourth best team in the West. Just like Rodney said, he hasn't really done too much of anything, and actually, it's been longer than 6 years. He's been over here like what 7, almost 8 years now. Like he's been with Houston for a minute. He hasn't really produced. He's run out every second tier, Robin to his Batman player from CP3 to Dwight to Russell Westbrook. Like everybody's gone because he don't want him around. But I think it's going to be really funny once he gets over to New Jersey, or not New Jersey, to Brooklyn, because I see him and KD doing some great things together, but I really don't see Kyrie coming back no time soon. You know what I'm saying? He's on his own like little personal hiatus, so he's not trying to play no basketball right now. Low key, it could be funny if he just like sits out all the way to like the playoffs if he comes back, but I don't really see anything big coming from them in Brooklyn. I mean, the East is kind of strong again if you really think about it, and there's not going to be very much consistency throughout, their roster. They got 9 players playing tonight, and they only have James Harden coming in tomorrow and what one other player. So I mean, that's a weak roster. That's weak.
Man, y'all tripping, bro. Y'all tripping. Listen, all right, Ronnie Wright. When it comes to they don't got nobody on their bench right now. You can go sign some people. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Jeremy Lin is playing for the G League right now. So you go pick up Jeremy Lin. You can pick up players. You can get little trades. Matter of fact, go for D Rose. I need him to get a title anyway. But I think they're playing in the East at the end of the day. They ain't playing in the West. Who they competing against? The Bucks. Giannis don't even got a jump shot. So the Bucks ain't going nowhere. Boston doing their thing. 76ers, Ben Simmons don't got no jump shot. So they ain't going nowhere. They don't got no competition. They're going to pretty much coast, even if Kyrie Irving comes back in the playoffs. You got a well-rested Kyrie Irving. Then you got James Harden, and you got Kevin Durant. I think James Harden, what he really did was what KD did with the Warriors. So he don't need to be the superstar. KD's the superstar, even with his Achilles injury. I think it was a good pickup. They can pick up players on the way, some signs, do some other trades. I don't know. But I think it was a good move. At the end of the day, for your boy, anybody, I'm going on record. I don't care who it is. Long as the Lakers don't win the championship, I'm a happy sports fan. Long as the Lakers don't they can bring everybody together. I don't care. Go get Giannis for all I care. Get everybody on the team. Long as purple and gold don't win a championship, your boy's a happy man. So please, Brooklyn, take them out.
Now for me, I think that it's a win for the Nets because they was gonna give us Spencer Dinwiddie to get him too, and the fact that Spencer Dinwiddie got injured and they retained him, even if it's not this year, they're gonna get 2-3 championships out of this team. And even if they don't get a bench, look at the big three in Miami. They didn't have a bench the first year and they lost. But then they came back the next 2 years and won once they got them a team. So this year they might not win it all. They're going to win the East, but they might not win it all with this trade right now. But they're definitely the best in the East. They were the best in the East before this trade. So this really solidifies them right now. But
y'all you guys completely forgetting about Boston. Boston was number one.
I got a fact check.
I don't think Boston, man, I don't even know who their number one is to be number one. Who is it, Tatum or is it Brown? Who is your number one?
They 1A and 1B. They both came out of the same draft.
Boston was not number one in the East.
That won some championships.
Watch what I say when it's a Boston Lakers championship or Boston Lakers finals this year.
You see how Gordon Hayward looking over there, man, in Charlotte.
Gordon Hayward couldn't play in Brad Stevenson's system. It was a bad look for him. He came in with Kyrie. Kyrie's toxic. It wasn't a good gel for him.
It wasn't that Kyrie was toxic. It was his first year off that horrible injury. He had to get back.
So speaking of Kyrie. So this hiatus that Kyrie is on, man. So he's just taking a personal leave. Nobody knows where this nigga is, and now he's been caught at a party, maskless, and they're investigating him. Do you think that Kyrie's coming back anytime soon? Or y'all think that what I'm saying is just he
doesn't want to be back? I mean, honestly, he doesn't want to be back. If you really think about it, he's doing his own thing, just like James Harden was doing his own thing before the season started. He's already guaranteed his money. He's good with who he is internally. That's why he saged the stage on his first game against Boston. When you just think about who he is, you know what I mean? He's not worried too much about what anyone has to say about him. He's more worried about him. So he did his party. They're going to try to fine him. They're going to suspend him. He's going to sit back and wait. And then when it's time for him to come back and play, he's going to say, I don't want to play. The last 2 games, he didn't play because he chose not to play. Now it's coming out about him being at some party or whatever. But, he's doing what he wants to do. And, I mean, honestly, I don't think he's a bad dude. I just think that a lot of his antics aren't really all about basketball. Like, if he just played ball, everything's good to go, and he can say whatever he wants. But he started off with this whole, I'm not talking to the media. I don't owe them anything. And then now he's not playing. So, I mean, he really has no, he has no voice if he's just choosing not to be around.
So, do you think that we'll see all 3 of them on the floor, Harden, Durant, and Kyrie, anytime soon? Do you think Kyrie is going to be?
At some point, Kyrie will be back. I mean, this is the thing. People got to realize the only time Kyrie goes through these type of things is when something crazy has happened. He did this when Kobe died. Kobe was like one of his best friends, and he took it very hard. So Kyrie tripped out. I mean, rightfully so. And then when the whole social injustice thing. He tripped out then. And now the White House getting blown up by white people. He tripped out then. This man really gives a fuck. And people always try to get on him. But that shit, people can't deal with that type of anxiety like anybody else. If you really give a fuck about some shit and some shit is bothering you, ain't nothing wrong with going to go take your personal time and get your mind right. Because if you're on the court, he's going to be fucking up. Everybody going to be like, what's wrong with Kyrie? He point shaving. He this and that. Let him get his mind right. It ain't like the Nets can't make the playoffs without Kyrie there. Let him take as much time as he needs. Just come back ready to playoffs and ready to get a ring. Period.
One thing though, oh, go ahead. Yeah, my bad.
I think the same thing, man. Like, I get it that they basketball players, but at the end of the day, it's considered their 9 to 5. And sometimes we take personal time off and we go to parties or we go and do same things as well. But it's a little different because we ain't in the spotlight. But we can do it. Why can't he? Like Ronnie said, man, he taking time off for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. He taking personal time off. And if the Nets know that he's taking personal time off, if the Nets ain't tripping, why we tripping? The Nets ain't coming out like, oh, we gonna fine him. Like unfortunately, he ain't doing what he didn't do with Derrick Rose in the New York Knicks, where Derrick Rose just disappeared and nobody knew where he was. The Nets know where he was. The Nets know that he's taking personal time. Whatever he does on his personal time is his personal time. If he wanted to go to a party maskless, maybe everybody at the party he knew. Ain't none of us got a mask on right now, but we at home. You know why? Because we in the comfort of our environment. Maybe that party, he knew everybody at the party. I don't know. You don't know all those details. But if the man needs to take time off to come back and beat the Lakers, then go ahead, bro. Take your time.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Come back and beat the Lakers.
No, I like that energy because this is what I got to say about it because this is what pisses me off. Ronnie, you were very honest about it. You said this is the third time. You said Kobe, the social injustice, and now the second social injustice, which there's been so many in between. I guess he could have did something about it a long time ago, like maybe gone to the bubble and actually played and then spoke up every time he had the opportunity to. Instead, he stayed home. He gave money to the WNBA, which I respect. But I'm upset because if he's a grown man, and I guess I'm older than Kyrie Irving also, if this is his 9 to 5, if he was to take personal time off, you do have to notify your job, your employer, right? The only reason why the Nets weren't saying anything right now is because Kevin Durant hadn't said anything. If Kevin Durant had said something, then there would have been a problem with when he came back. Right now, they jumped on James Harden because I guarantee you within the next 72 hours, the Nets make a statement about how they feel about Kyrie Irving's absence, how he didn't tell anybody what he's doing. He didn't notify his coach. He didn't notify his team. He's not being like low-key. He's not being a real man. Like if he feels some type of way, then he should be speaking on it. He shouldn't be running and taking it back and going, you know what? I have to figure out how I feel right now. Because that's a part of the mental health that we're supposed to be trying to correct. We're not supposed to be running and hiding from what's really going on. And then the last thing about it, too, realistically, Kyrie Irving never runs from the spotlight. He never runs. He speaks up and says everything that comes to his mind. So the fact that he ain't saying shit right now, it lets me know something big. It lets me know internally that he's messed up because if he was to channel his inner Mamba mentality, Kobe would say, get your black ass on the court and go torch 50 points a game until somebody stops you. And right now he's showing that he's not even about basketball. He's not even about people because he's not even speaking up on the whole social injustice neither. He's just MIA off the map.
Hey, but my question is this though.
We gotta move on from basketball. Let's wrap this up.
No, okay. So my question is this though. With the social injustice and everything, you saying that he should play, but I mean the Lakers won the championship, right? That didn't stop what happened in the White House. So
I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying his mouth
don't do nothing.
No, his mouth being quiet and not playing. You can't be quiet and not play. You got to do one of the two. And if you're choosing to do neither, then what are you?
Yeah,
because he's only getting the attention that he's getting because he can hoop. If he couldn't hoop, he wouldn't be on this podcast with us.
That's real.
Just beat
So
the Lakers.
we gotta talk about this White House, man. So after all this craziness, man, today the House voted to impeach Trump the second time. He's the first president to be for articles of impeachment to be brought upon twice. He said that he incited the riot and that basically this was pre-planned and that they knew what they were doing and they have all type of intelligence proving that they knew that they were going to go rush the Capitol and that was the plan all along. They were just trying to. It was all, the rest was all semantics. So, how do you guys feel about impeachment a second time when he only has 10 days left in his cabinet? Like, what is the reason behind the 10 days? I hear a lot of people saying that it's so that he can't ever run for president again because they're saying that he's going to leave presidency, but then he's going to run for another candidacy again the next election. So they're trying to impeach him now so that he can never run for office again. What's your thoughts on this?
Oh my gosh, about time they get this man impeached again. I mean, waiting until now to do it is it's a slap in the face because everyone's been talking about him and complaining about him and being real transparent about how horrible of a person Donald Trump is. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some things that he did, you know what I'm saying, as far as, putting money into the economy and stuff like that. But being a blatant racist and causing so much division in an already divided country, he really brought the racist white people out and made them loud. He started this riot thing. He started all this stuff. So Trump doing all this, it could have been avoided if they would have just listened the first time. Y'all should have never elected the motherfucker. So it's like, I mean, I don't believe in the lesser of two evils thing. I'm not a Joe Biden fan myself or a Kamala Harris fan myself for that matter. But at the same time, Donald Trump was horrible. He should have never been in office for these reasons. Now you see that the racist white people are able to be loud and proud. I mean, they're around the neighborhood. There's flags everywhere, MAGA flags and Trump 2020 still flags up right now like he's going to continue to be president. He put this country in a very, very dangerous state, which could lead to a civil war. So they should have been listening, man.
I think I think the energy that he brought out is he didn't show that he was a good leader. And the whole thing is, I mean, the guy got 10 days left or whatever the case may be. So the whole thing is to not let him run again, because that's him going after it again. He may win again. There's a chance, and they don't want to take that chance of letting him win again. And I think it's a strategic move not to have him in there, not to have him run again. You know what I'm saying? They don't want his vice president to be Kanye, and then they take over. But I think that his whole presidency has shown us as people. It has shown some of us and where our love walk is and how we are. And it has shown people in a positive light and in the negative light. So that's how I see it. Like, the negative people coming out, and I just think it's an energy thing, man. Like, CNN and all these other places are going to keep playing this stuff because we give into it, So how you think they getting in their ratings right now? Because we watching it. So I don't know. I don't know about this.
For me, I really think that this is just more of the same old song and dance, I guess you could say. I mean, every movie from the last 20 years is continuing to depict that, we're coming to the end. The Mayans said 2012. People have been joking about how it could have been 2021 on accident because, we just read it wrong. When you think about the way the whole Capitol situation went down, like when it all first got reported, there wasn't all this extra cell phone footage. It was just the quote unquote masses at the door, and everybody pushed their way through. And then they started slowly starting to release stuff like the one guy who said, it's death or nothing, and he flipped one of the police officers over the rail, and a different guy threw the fire extinguisher that was later on used to beat on somebody. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just rage. You know what I mean? And I don't even think it's just um, hate for blacks, as people would always, try to say that it's all racial. I think it's really because of how bad things are going on in general across the board that people are in fear. Like just because Biden won and he's about to get sworn in, 9 out of 10 people I talk about or talk to about the presidency, they're more worried about how long he has before he's going to be removed as president, and then Kamala Harris becomes president. And it's funny, majority of the people I'm talking to about it are Democrats. So I'm like, how are you upset about who's going to assume, the role of the leader of the world or of the United States if you were the one that voted them in? You voted in this team. So it's like a lot of people are just all over the place. You have people jumping back and forth from red to blue, like as if they who banging, like they don't know what to do with themselves in the streets. So this is just hate driven, like, you know what I mean? Hate and fear driven. It's not racial anymore. This is straight fear.
It's crazy because Trump boy Mitch McConnell even turned his back on him. The House Majority Leader. This has been one of Trump's like most avid advocates. He's probably saved Trump ass multiple times, and he even voted this morning in the House to impeach him. So he got people within his own cabinet. He got some of his biggest advocates going and going against him and voting to impeach him. So of course, when it hits the Senate, the Republicans have the Senate on lock. So they got to get 2/3. They're not going to get 2/3, so he won't be impeached. I don't think that it's going to happen. It's going to get shut down, just like the last impeachment got shut down. But I think that they're definitely going to try. So have y'all heard about went down in LA, man? They said over the weekend, over 200 people were arrested by a secret task force called the Super Spreader Task Force. Have you guys heard of this? They're
No,
going
not at
around
all.
finding these underground parties and these underground get-togethers, and they're arresting people, calling them super spreaders. They're a super spreader task force, kind of like a gang unit in
For
LA right
COVID?
now for COVID.
Oh God, Jesus.
This is
Oh
crazy.
man. You know what? I won't lie to you. I got a text message today that actually was talking about basketball, right? And about how a lot of the high school kids are so upset that they don't know whether or not their season's going to happen, that they have different locations that they want to meet up and protest together. And then at the end of it, it said, be aware that this could be a super spreader setup. And I didn't look any deeper into it because I'm like, who would, I'm like, what is a super spreader setup to begin with? And then the fact that it was just a random text message, I didn't take it serious. But now you say it, and I'm like, this is like what somebody's play on like Sons of Anarchy, or you know what I mean, like
Like
Robin
a
Hood or
bait
something
car.
like that.
So
Yeah,
you
like
thought it was a bait car party where they just bait
yeah,
you and spreading?
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not even it's just to get people. I don't know. Like it don't make no sense because you got people still going to Vegas every weekend, coming back
Yeah.
testing negative for COVID, no issues. You know what I'm saying? They still going Pachanga, Morongo, all kinds of casinos. You know what I mean? Indian or regular ones. And I don't
Atlanta.
know. I don't know, man. That's wild.
Ooh, wait, man, that's crazy. 200 super spreader task force. So to be clear, this is a task force that's finding people and saying that they're spreading. Like, what is it really talking
So
about?
it's kind of like a gang unit task force, but for underground parties. So their whole job is to find the so-called super spreaders that keep having these underground parties and underground organizations that keep spreading all the COVID around by having these mass gatherings underground.
Mm.
That's a lot of
Wow.
Man,
energy. That's a lot of energy. Go ahead, yeah, my bad.
nah, man. I think it's another reason. I mean, why would you do it in L.A.? You know, of all places. You know, I think it's just one of those kind of, hey, we still gotta put these people up in jail. You know what I'm saying? We still got to put a lock on these color folks. You know, the whole COVID thing. I believe COVID is real. I believe I have heard and you know, people dying from COVID and everything of that nature. I believe it's real, but some of the stuff that they be saying about it, you know, you gotta triple check it and everything. My whole thing and what I think about COVID is if all four of us go out, right? All four of us are wearing a mask. Most people we see is wearing a mask. Everybody got a mask on, and it's still spreading like rapid. So you telling me it's the underground parties that's spreading it. But if everybody got a mask on, obviously that tells me the mask ain't really helping.
Well, remember
Okay,
they
well,
also said that it was being spread through the food. That it
yeah.
was, people were getting it, or people who had COVID was spreading it through like packaging in the meat factories and stuff like that. Like we were literally ingesting it and didn't know it.
So
So
COVID,
COVID can
the
survive in
U.S.
400 degree. For frozen ass meat. Like how?
Well, I mean, like in general, like from the pack. This is what I heard. This is what I heard, that from the packing in like factories, that we were getting it from anything, or it was getting like mixed in with food, and that we were literally ingesting it, like
Right,
from
so after it
from
gets
beef
packed
to
though, it has to
chicken.
be in the freezer. So COVID is
I don't.
surviving the freezer.
I don't
I
know.
don't
Hey,
know.
COVID is the smartest disease in the world. This is
I
why
know
COVID is the smartest
It's hooked
disease in
up
the
with
world.
practical.
HIV. Don't forget that it has HIV in it.
I heard
That's
that's in
why.
the vaccine.
I mean, they gonna continue to say all type of shit about COVID. I mean, to me, everything just doesn't make sense because they say we can't eat at restaurants, but we can still go to grocery stores. We can still go to Walmart and Target, but we can't go, start to have an outing. We can still go to places like the mall. And, out here in our mall, Ontario Mills, that mall is packed on the weekends. It's people right next to each other all day. So that's still okay, but we can't go to a
Hey,
restaurant.
Ronnie,
It's
you can't forget that all four of us gotta wear a mask. But if you under 3 years old, you don't gotta wear a mask. So COVID knows that if you a kid, you don't gotta wear a mask.
right, exactly.
I
So
don't
all of a
know.
sudden, COVID is not powerful enough to get
Well,
kids.
well, the U.S. passed over 3,000 COVID deaths a day this past week, and now they're talking about the vaccine. So Dr. Fauci was on CNN, and he was asked
Hell
by
no.
people, "Okay, if I got the vaccine, then why do I need to still wear a mask?" And his response to that was that there is no proof that the vaccine will stop you from getting COVID again.
So why
So what
get it?
is the point of the vaccine? This shit is
That
dumb
makes
as hell.
no sense. That makes no sense.
And this is the dude that Dr. Fauci, he's been the head guy, their go-to guy for all of this shit over COVID, man. So, man, it's crazy, man. Like, we don't know
Well,
when we come out of this. The information we get is so skewed that we don't know what the world is really looking like.
I
Right.
just, I just don't think that the whole 3,000 a day thing is even accurate, because I don't know if I talked about it on one of our previous episodes or not. But I've had people tell me that people who died in their family for regular reasons like old age, cancer, diabetes, that their death certificates are saying COVID. And if you continue to use those people who are dying for other reasons on your COVID statistics, it would only make people scared that COVID is real, pushing the vaccinations, that, oh, yeah, we got to make sure everybody has it, just to make sure what? I don't think it's COVID that they're trying to make us afraid of. I think it's just that mind control part, so that the next thing that comes, we won't even be afraid of. We'll just follow suit and be like, okay, what do you want us to do? Yes, sir. Like you said before, Caleb.
It's the Hunger Games, man. I
They
told
can't-
you.
Man,
they
didn't the
can't-
FDC or whatever come out and say there was a thing on the website that said that the numbers were messed up. It was like on the COVID website that was talking about they're off.
COVID ain't going nowhere, man. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have plenty of more COVID to talk about, man. Unfortunately. So let's get to football, man. So
Man,
recently, man, the Eagles fired Doug Peterson, man. After a championship run, what is it, less than 4 years ago, they got him up out of there, man. I know it was a hard season for them, but I still feel like he still deserved his job, man. Like, how do y'all feel about that? Like, you can, it's just more of like job security. This is America, man. You can win a motherfucker the Super Bowl and 3 years later be out on your ass, man. Like, there is no loyalty in this world no more, especially in business. So how do y'all feel about Doug Peterson fired? Do you think he deserved to be fired?
Nah, he didn't deserve to be fired. I mean, they already had got rid of Nick Foles, so you should have gave him a little bit more time to figure out his team. I mean, his system obviously is a winning system because, like you said, if he won a Super Bowl within the last 4 years, that's still more than my favorite team, the Raiders. And we just gave John Gruden $100 million. He ain't did nothing for us. So I mean, it's just a difficult situation because you think about it. Philly always had Andy Reid. And when you had Andy Reid over there, you also had Donovan McNabb. They never won, but they were okay with the like low key. It seemed like Philly was okay with the black quarterback, like almost making it, and then the solid coach that just had a flawless system. So they just probably want to shake it all up, let go of Peterson, and then maybe pick up one of these college coaches and see what they can do for him with the draft.
man, come on, man. It's a you gotta be on top of the game. If the last Super Bowl was 4 years ago, of course you're gonna be under the hot seat, man. It's the same thing with any other. I mean, well, at least the job that I used to work at, it was what have you done for me lately type thing. It was a performance based job. So with that performance based job, they gonna be like, hey, I was the top performer at my job and I still got canned. So, like if it's a performance based job, they're gonna let you go and everything like that. I do think that maybe he needed a little more time, especially if I mean, the Eagles' struggle was they didn't even know who their real quarterback's gonna be. Like, the backup quarterback was better than they starting quarterback. I thought that they should have kept their backup quarterback, but they didn't draft him like that. So Eagles always had an identity crisis. So now they got to figure out what their identity is, and they just taking it from the ground up.
I need to enlighten you, the educated. Let me enlighten
Shoot, still better than my Seahawks.
you.
Damn it.
Enlighten you on something. It's not a performance-based job. When you just win a Super Bowl 4 years ago, that's not bad. Super Bowls just don't come by like that. Like every team
Facts.
just doesn't win Super Bowls. The only team that consistently wins Super Bowls, at least over the last 20 years, is the Patriots. No other team is just winning Super Bowls like that. So 4 years ago, winning a Super Bowl, that's not what's going on here. It's obviously something else that's going on. That reason he got fired. Do I feel sorry for him? Absolutely not. I do not feel sorry for him because no one wants to feel sorry for the Lovie Smiths or any other the black coaches that get fired, unjustly. These guys are having their teams going making deep playoff runs and they can't get second chances. So, it is what it is. Go get another job. Like but I definitely don't think it had nothing to do with the performance. I mean, winning the Super Bowl 4 years ago, I wish my team would have won the Super Bowl 4 years ago. We ain't, you know what I mean? So,
Facts.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit. So y'all see this weekend, man. We got Tom Brady facing off against Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Now that Tom Brady in the NFC, man, do you think that terrific Tom really got a chance to take them back to the Super Bowl? Do you really think that this shit is possible? Or do you think that Drew Brees is trying to breeze through them? Because, you know, they've been on the road, man, and that boy is hot as hell. And the Buccaneers barely beat the Washington football team. And, you know, Washington was terrible. The NFC East was terrible. Everybody in that division was terrible. So for them to barely squeak by in that win and pull away late, it's really made me scared for the Bucks. Like I don't know if the Bucks got enough to take Tom Brady to the Super Bowl, man. How y'all feel about this?
They absolutely don't have enough. The Saints are just a juggernaut in both of the regular season matchups. You know, no playoffs is different, but both of the matchups were a domination. I think they beat them like 33-9 in one meeting, and then the other one they beat them like 34-23 or something like that. But the Saints easily beat them. I mean, Tom Brady with the right team around him, I never will bet against him with the right team around him. But I don't think they have enough to compete with the Saints. I think the Saints are going to steamroll them and possibly send Brady into retirement.
Man, I feel completely different. I feel like this is his moment. I feel like this is Tom Brady's like farewell moment. Like even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, if he beats Drew Brees, given the fact that they're, two of the top tier quarterbacks of all time, this would definitely give him like that legacy. Like it'll be a different accolade that he can. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he could still retire, and nobody would give him too much of grief about, why didn't you leave on top? But I see the game going like kind of a close game because both of the defenses are going they're going to allow the quarterbacks to do what they do, as bad as that sounds. And I think Drew Brees runs through the team the whole first three quarters, and Tom Brady comes back with that last like maybe the last 3 minutes of the game, drives back and wins like on some solid GOAT shit. Like I don't know why. And I hated Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots because the way they beat the Raiders with that fumble. Now that he's not a Patriot anymore, I'm rooting for him. And I don't want to go with the Saints because when I Google myself, Alvin Kamara is the only other Alvin other than the Chipmunk when you search him. So it's a subliminal Alvin thing. So the Saints got to go home. The Saints got to go home.
I care less about neither of them, but I'm gonna go with Breeze because I'm a Seahawks fan and I don't like Tom Brady. So I'm anti Tom Brady like I'm anti Lakers. So let's go Breeze.
What is there to not like about Tom Brady? Like I don't understand.
Hey man, Tom Brady. Well,
just like LeBron,
because we didn't run the damn ball. But Tom Brady.
My thing I don't like about Tom Brady was the Deflategate. That was just clear example of white privilege. Just like the shit at the Capitol was an example of white privilege. Tom Brady destroyed his phone, fired the nigga that was deflating the balls from me, basically sat out, didn't do nothing that nobody said, hired a lawyer, and came back and won the Super Bowl that year.
And we still call him the GOAT.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was white privilege because look at
Michael
Haskins.
Vick.
Dwayne Haskins right now just got released and he didn't basically do nothing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do close to cheating. Maybe he wasn't the best teammate, maybe he didn't have the best work ethic. But he didn't cheat. Tom Brady got caught cheating and went and got a 4-game suspension, won his appeal, and went and won a Super Bowl. Like that was a perfect example of white privilege, man.
So Caleb, here's a question.
Or one Michael Vick in that position, Davey, you saw how Michael Vick got killed off of the whole dog fight.
Yeah.
I'm not against dogs, but he really got a bad case, against him, and You know, you think if that was Tom Brady that was doing what Mike Vick did, that same result would have happened? So yeah, I agree with you,
Nah.
Kalum.
But you remember one more thing other than the white privilege. He champion. They always ride with a champion.
You got a
You
point
get
there.
away you almost get away with murder when you're a champion. I mean, no disrespect to
Not
Kobe,
OJ.
but you know what I mean? Hey, other than OJ, remember Kobe had his case. He had his case, he came back and he missed the whole first half of the game. He flew in the helicopter or flew in the plane with his whole outfit on. Walked straight into the arena and still busted. So I mean, it's that championships type stuff. Like they kind of let you get away with it when you've already hit the mountaintop, and then
Right.
everything is a slap on the
Hey, but
wrist.
the difference
Kobe just
is
played.
Kobe
Uh-oh.
Kobe
Kobe
cheated.
played.
Kobe cheated as in on his wife.
Yeah,
Brady
but it was
cheated
no,
as
but
in
it was
I'm going to cheat to win a football game. There's a
yeah,
difference.
but it was still the whole. It's still cheating.
You know,
Kobe
that's
was
a different kind of cheating. That had
All
nothing
right,
to do
well,
with the game.
we gotta touch on that. This whole clash of the White House, man. The whole Proud Boys, the whole thing. We gotta touch on that, man. So, how do y'all really feel about all that shit that happened, man? They said that the FBI arrested a little over 170 people already. We're calling them domestic terrorists, but they're not naming them that, but that's what I'm calling them because that's what they are. But I think there were thousands of people out of there, and you only got 170 arrests. And
Hmm.
what are the charges that have been brought up on these 170 people? And I'm pretty sure they ain't doing no real time. So
Right.
this shit is crazy, like how thousands of people could storm the Capitol, but the FBI can only catch quote unquote 170 of them. This is some bullshit. Like these niggas really did that shit, and they really finna get away with it. Like they was kicking in Nancy Pelosi desk, and they're finna get away with it. Like this shit is crazy, man. Like, what do y'all think? You think that's some bullshit or not?
Man, this shit right here, man. This shit right here is I really want to pay attention to how white America reacts to this because they've heard us in our plights and our complaints about white privilege and us giving very valid examples and them still not somehow understanding what we are talking about. You know, you try to explain white privilege to the average white person, they're gonna look at you like you're making excuses. Like, what are you talking about? They really don't understand it. So when you look at this, and if you're gonna sit up here and look in the mirror and look at yourself and be honest with yourself, if you're white, if you're honest with yourself and say, if those were black people or even Mexican people running up on the White House like that, trying to do something like that, do you ask yourself, are you going to see the National Guard? Are you going to see force with guns? Are you going to see people getting arrested? That's a completely different thing. Just when they were doing Black Lives Matters with no weapons, look how they were treating those people out there, tackling them, spraying them, shooting them, doing all type of junk. Just know that that was a great, perfect example of white privilege. And if you're white and don't want to see that, you got to question yourself at this point.
Man, that's big facts. Go ahead, y'all. My bad.
I totally agree, man. It just shows the difference of what you can get away with in skin color. Um, like how you said, Caleb, with the whole domestic terrorist thing. I mean, they ain't never gonna call a white person a terrorist. Think about it. Um, some Indian or Muslim person go into on an airplane, boom, you ready to call that terrorism? You ready to call everything a terrorism, but you didn't call the white dude that went into the church and killed those people terrorism. You didn't call the dude that shot up at Vegas terrorism. You don't call white people terrorists. It's just like it don't go together. It's like white people can't be terrorists, but they do a whole lot of terrorist stuff. But if another race do it, then ooh, no, that's a terrorist attack. Ooh, that was gang violence. So I think what happened really shows the difference in what they can get away with and what we can get away with. 170, you know what I'm saying? If we go out and just us four, if we go out tomorrow, let's say everything calmed down and we all go try to do the same thing, all four of us is getting arrested. Matter of fact, we may not even get arrested. We may not even see the next day. So it just shows the difference of where we at in America.
I felt when I first saw it, like I said, as far as the hatred part, it was obvious that they were just mad as far as what was about to happen or what they felt was going on with Trump not being in office and all this other shit. But when you think about the white privilege part, like even the picture the picture that's being used right now, all you can really see is that we don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about we as black people or we as the minorities, including Hispanics and even Asians. I mean, we all come together and we do all these different things. I mean, all pandemic, right? Everybody was talking about come back, do black owned, do all these different things to help build the community back up. Those were people who already are well off for the most part. Because if you think about how many people were screaming about death, I don't know about anybody. I don't know about y'all four or the rest of you three, but like I'm blessed every day I wake up. There's no way in hell I'm going to go and stand in front of the masses and say I'm ready to die at this Capitol building because I'm not getting my way. That is the worst shit I've ever heard. Yes, that's a perfect example of white privilege, but at the same time, it's like it's just more proof of where we are as a whole. You know what I mean? Like I continue to preach my whole focus on the future thing because of the kids or whatever. But like, how many of you guys really believe that if it would have been blacks and Mexicans, right? And say, for example, it was us and we had our kids on our shoulders, well, our kids might have died. You know what I mean? Like they would have sprayed the whole entire spot. It wouldn't have been picking off people with stun guns or bean bags. It would have been death on anybody standing there talking that reckless shit that they were talking, and they were talking aggressive. They was like, "Who in the fuck do you think you are?" Like when they were taking their pictures inside of the Capitol building, it was the utmost disrespect. Like you're taking podiums and you're leaving with property. Like you know what I'm saying? Like those are things that if any of those things would have been done, just like us walking out of a grocery store, you know what I mean, we wouldn't have made it home. So it hurt. You know what I mean? Like it really hurt to just see that we're about to have a worse 2021 than we had 2020.
Hey, on the last note, there was more. I think on your last slide, Kalum, it showed that there was more arrested for the super spreader than what it was in LA than what it was from
at the Capitol
domestic terrorism.
Go ahead, Go ahead,
y'all. Agencies that spy on you all day and night.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go ahead, y'all. That was a good one.
For real though, that's a good point, man.
Yeah,
they can find 200 people at private parties faster than they can find who was at the Capitol.
Hey, Kalum, do you think that 170 were people that they investigated like off of their social medias and were conspiring into doing the whole storming the Capitol? Or do you think it was 170 random people that were arrested or got charges brought to them?
Oh, it's probably people that don't fit their background. They ain't no ex-military. They ain't no ex-cop. They're not a registered Republican. They're not, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, you don't serve any of our causes, but we caught you there, so let's arrest you. You know what I'm saying? That's my thought process on it, is if you serve one of their purposes, they want you, they need you. They still got an agenda to reach. So they're definitely not going to arrest you. So the people that they got was probably people that didn't serve any of their specific agendas. You don't serve me no purpose. You're expendable. So let's get you. That's my thoughts on it, man. That shit crazy, man. Like, it's been a crazy week, man. So let's see if Trump get impeached. We're gonna be back next week, man. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Getting back to it, man. Politicking, man. Let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
Shout out to the brand, man, to the PolitiKan. We came so far and we're going up, man. 2021, man. Shout out to H&S. Shout out to the crew. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the fans and the viewers and the people that continue to rock with PolitiKan. Stay tuned for more PolitiKan content all year.
Shout out to y'all. 4 black men do what we do. I appreciate y'all allowing me to continue to rock with y'all. Shout out to Brand of Encouragement as always. Shout out to Ya for always being my mindset sensei, putting me in that lion mindset. Shout out to you, Kalum, for continuing, man, bro. I like that setup, bro. That's what I want to shout out. I love that we are on First Take now. You know what I'm saying? Really doing what it does. And Ronnie, hey man, I've really been checking out your stuff on Instagram. So big shout out to you, bro. Like I was sleeping on you, bro. I apologize. I was sleeping on you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Respect, man.
No problem.
Shout out to the Politician podcast and broadcast, everything. If you haven't been tuning in, you better start tuning into it. Shout out to you 3 gentlemen, man. Keep doing your thing, leading your communities in the way that you guys are leading them. We need more men to step up and let the world know. So don't be apologetic with what you guys do. Keep doing it. Shout out to Brand of Encouragement, Focus on the Future, Running Wild. Shout out to everybody else out there that's tuning in and sharing it out. Don't just tune in and just watch it. Like, let somebody else know. We need to get this out there more. More people need to know about it. So that's it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I just want to say something as I close out, man, because Ronnie, he knows, man, like, there's been a crazy, like, energy that's been around us lately. And we've seen, like, a lot of people coming our way that's definitely just trying to take and trying to use, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all 3 brothers because when you get real love from genuine people out there, when the fake love comes, it's so obvious and it's so menacing. You can just feel it when it walks in the room, you know what I'm saying? We really just been on this thing where it's like, you know what? In 2021, we ain't doing no more fake love, man. So all y'all keep coming to us with all this fake love, man, and ill intentions and saying what you can get up out of us. You can't get nothing up out of us, man. We on our shit, man. We got our plan. We sticking to it, man. We finna get to it, man. I got a team. We got our heads on, man. We putting our heads down and we putting in the work and we asking questions later. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got no time to wait on nobody. We getting to it. And as I close out, I always got to tell y'all niggas because I'm serious about this shit. As you can see, I don't know what y'all niggas gonna do with y'all life, but I'm gonna get to it, man.